Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heroes of Handheld, the world's premium podcast dedicated to handheld gaming. This is episode number 255, a very exciting number, a prime number, and a real big milestone in the legacy of this podcast that has been going for a very long time. So every week we get together, we gather around the campfire, and we talk about everything handheld gaming, and more specifically, we talk about mobile gaming and, of course, the Nintendo Switch. It feels like ages since we last spoke, actually, because last week we were away. I was on Hollybobs, and Chris was a bit poorly. And the week before, no, we podcast the week before, didn't we? But it was a day earlier than our usual scheduled day, which threw us off a little bit. But we're back and rocking. Well, I say rocking. I'm here. I'm ready and rocking and ready to go. My co-host, Mr. Chris Pearson, is currently experiencing some internet issues. So we are hoping he will drop in at some point in the near future. And when I say near future, any second, to be honest, because he could appear any minute on the Google Docs, not the Google Docs, the Google Hangouts. I'm looking at his face could appear any minute, which would fill me with happiness. So we've got a few bits of gaming news. Obviously, we're going to talk about this week. A few specifically chosen bits that me and Chris have brought to the table that we want to talk about. And when Chris gets here as well, I'm sure we'll talk about Detective Pikachu, which came out a couple of weeks ago now. I've still not seen it. I know Chris has. And he was teasing me the other day. He wouldn't tell me his thoughts on it. He was like, "You have to wait for the podcast." So I was really excited to actually sit down and hear his thoughts on Detective Pikachu, but he's not here, and it's really annoying. I'm literally begging for his review on that because I really want to see it. And I've probably mentioned this before on the podcast when we've spoken about games, but I am swayed quite a bit by reviews, by professional reviewers, if there's such a term, people online who I respect, and friends as well. So if any of them say it's rubbish, any of those categories say a film is rubbish, chances are I won't see it. So Chris could make or break my viewing of Detective Pikachu. So I really am looking forward to that. Also, Aladdin's out today, isn't it? The Disney Aladdin, the remake with Will Smith. Don't know how I feel about that. I'm a big Disney fan, as you probably know. And this may shock you. Aladdin, not one of my favorites of the Disney films from the 90s. I preferred Emperor's New Groove, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King more than Aladdin. But a lot of people are excited about it. I'm not too sure. I'm more excited for the fact it's 1 month, or just under a month now, until Toy Story 4 is here. And I'm not worried because it's Pixar. And even though a lot of people think they should have ended it at Toy Story 3, I think the fourth one will be awesome. So let's go on and talk about some gaming news. I'm going to discuss the article that I've brought to the table. And when Chris comes in, I'm sure we will pick it up and talk about it even more. So I want to talk about Wizards Unite, which is the upcoming game from Niantic, who are very well known because they are the company who created Pokemon Go, which I've been obsessed with for years. And me and Chris have spoken about this many, many times. Talking about Pokemon Go, actually, there's been loads of updates on Pokemon Go since we last spoke. There's been a community day that happened last weekend. They've also announced new lures for catching new Pokemon. They released a few new Pokemon as well. So it's all very exciting. Just got a text from Chris. Sorry for the interference there. Chris is saying that he's had to restart everything because his whole system has frozen. And this, my friends, is why you don't podcast on a dodgy laptop. And that's why I'm podcasting from a state-of-the-art studio in the centre of London town, which I've hired out specifically for this podcast. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, yes, Wizards Unite, which is the game coming from Niantic, who have created Pokemon Go. I was saying about all the updates on Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is just great. I love it. I've actually speaking to people now who've actually started playing it now. It's almost like Detective Pikachu has spurred them on to play Pokemon Go. And people who played it back in the early days, a couple of years ago, are now getting back into it. I mean, it's the perfect time. When Pokemon Go first started, it was very choppy with the servers and things crashing. And it was actually a rarity that you could actually get in and play the game. But now it's in such a strong position. It's just there's so much content, trading and leveling up and missions and research tasks and things like that. It's so good. I love it. I'm halfway through level 34. I'm on now. Let's go double check that. I think it's 34. Yes, level 34, halfway through, and yeah, still loving it. Wearing my Eevee hat on mine. So that's all very good. Anyway, so Niantic, creator of Pokemon Go, are creating Wizards Unite, which is a Harry Potter themed game. And it feels a bit of a disservice to say it's a similar sort of thing, but it's using the same mechanics, but in a unique Harry Potter twist. I mean, the main thing that we've heard about this is that Niantic are wanting this to be a game that you'll play for years to come, similar to Pokemon Go. It's like constantly adapting and renewing and new content and stuff. Similar idea, though. Obviously, in Pokemon Go, you look at the virtual map and you catch Pokemon that appear in the world. With Wizards Unite, you're looking at the virtual map again, and you see certain artifacts that are from the Wizarding World, and your job is to send them back to the Wizarding World. So that can be like sorting hats, brooms, wands, or there's stuff that's a bit more dangerous, like basilisks and hippogriffs and mystical creatures like that. And the more challenging they are to send back, the more points and XP you get. And obviously it's the same mechanic with catching these things as Pokemon Go. But it's really interesting how they're using all the mechanics from Pokemon Go in this Harry Potter game. And it is, though it's the same mechanics, that the way you do it is a lot different. And I'm really loving the look of this. We're still waiting for a release date in the UK. I know they've had beta in Australia and New Zealand. And most people are saying it's pretty good so far. Lots of people are liking it. You'd imagine from the issues they had with the Pokemon Go launch that they'd be more prepared and the servers will be more ready for the onslaught of people that will obviously jump on it as soon as it releases. You'd hope anyway. But the reason I'm bringing up Wizards Unite, which we've been talking about for quite a while now since it was announced last year, is the fact that's been revealed. This is by John Hank, who's the CEO of Niantic, that the game is going to initially, well, we think initially, going to be an EE exclusive.
Outrageous.
Oh, here he is. Here he is, sounding like he's talking through a potato. I can see that's a massive. Let me guess. You're on your phone. You're doing it from your PlayStation Vita. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm doing it on my phone. But I've had to put
headphones. Brilliant.
I've put headphones in, but if I sound shit, I could do it as a phone call.
No, you sound great. You're a bit muffled, but we'll deal with it. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, mate. I'm all right, thank you. Wizards Unite, I had a trailer for at the cinema. They're really going hard on the market. Yeah. In fact, I might have seen it twice. They're really going hard on the marketing for it. Like I was very surprised.
Well, you think of all the money they got from Pokemon Go. Obviously, got to put that money somewhere. Niantic. They've got a lot of money to burn, and I think if they target this to the right people and people know about it, then this is going to be huge. Wizards Unite. It'll be just as big as Pokemon Go. It sort of surprises me that they're not releasing it to coincide with the launch of a new Fantastic Beasts film or something Harry Potter related. And obviously they can't put the time frames on those things, but obviously the Fantastic Beasts films are something that's in development at the moment, so it would have been good if they released it coincide with a trailer for that or something related to Harry Potter. Anyway, I'll just explain to the dear listeners about how in the UK it's going to be an EE exclusive upon release. So this is sort of launching with the new 5G service from EE. So we don't know when Wizards Unite is coming out, but when it does come out in the UK, initially it's going to be exclusive to EE, people who are on EE. But there's no details as to how that's going to work, or whether it's a timed exclusive, or whether it's going to be. I'd be very surprised if it was only EE for the whole thing. That would just be stupid. But it'd be interesting to see how long EE customers get Wizards Unite before it releases to everyone else. And that is annoying for me because I'm with Vodafone and not EE. So that's annoying. But yeah, I mean, the more I see of it, the more I'm really excited for it. And they did release it. It's probably the trailer you saw, actually. I saw a new trailer that was released last week or the week before, and people were gushing over it. So yeah, very excited for that. And it's interesting that the CEO of Niantic was saying that they want this game to be something that people play for years and years, a game that's constantly developing and, grows with the player. So that's sort of what Pokemon Go is. So the way they worded that as if that's a unique USP was a bit weird. Yeah, I don't know. So where did you go on? Go on, man.
Well, the EE thing is interesting as well because, I mean, like you were saying, I was listening for a little while before I spoke, and like you were saying about how Pokemon Go was difficult to launch. Maybe it's a kind of a win-win because if you launch it with only like, say there's whatever, I don't know, there's like 70 million people in the UK, aren't there? So if all
Something
of
like
them
that.
try and play Harry Potter at the same time, like it's going to be shit. So at least maybe it's kind of a savvy move because if they say, only EE people can play, then at least they know they can start the servers off a bit more gently. Like
It
you
could
can
be
you
a
can predict those
genius
numbers
move.
a bit more.
Yeah, it could be an ingenious move which works in both fronts because EE get the exclusivity and then the service of Wizards Unite don't buckle under the pressure straight away. So yeah,
Mm.
that's good. But no, I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be good. I'm still really into Pokemon Go, so I don't know how it'll be when Wizards Unite comes out. I don't know if it'll grip me as much as Pokemon Go has. It'll be interesting to see whether I go between the two or I completely kick Pokemon Go to the curb. I doubt I will, to be honest, but we shall see.
Are you
I
going to be a
can't.
Death Eater?
I don't know. I mean, when I played that other Harry Potter game, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Hogwarts Mystery, which I've still got on my phone, but I haven't played for like 3 months. Which everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" But then it was absolute crap. I decided to be a Slytherin, which is against what people would normally choose because I like to see the world from the other side in the Wizarding world. Because everyone loves Gryffindor, everyone loves the Ravenclaws, but no one cares about Slytherin. Everyone thinks, "Oh, they're just horrible people." And I was going to break the mold and make Slytherin a great house again. So maybe I will be a Death Eater because the Death Eaters were just misunderstood. Can you
Were
imagine?
they?
Hello. But yeah, Chris. Before we go any further, I was alluding to this at the beginning. Detective Pikachu. Let's have some
Mm.
thoughts.
Yeah, well, this is why, because I texted you earlier asking if you'd seen it or not, because I thought it'd be interesting for us to talk about on the pod, but obviously you haven't yet,
Yeah.
because you hate cinema and art.
Hey,
Um,
supporting the arts. Yeah.
I think
F
it's
the
going to
arts.
be, I really feel like, even though for me it's not an amazing film, I think we need to talk about it because it's kind of feels like the first pretty good video game film. And I think that it really shows what people can do well with video game movies because what they concentrate on isn't like trying to tell the story of the video game like uh completely cut to film. Like it feels like its own thing, even though it is based on the game. Um, and the fact they built this kind of crazy world that you can kind of just slip into and it like makes so much sense. They do such a good job of establishing like how the Pokemon world is and stuff. So I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because you've not seen it. But I think once you have seen it, we should definitely have a chat on here because I think it really could be the start of big things for video game movies and certainly for live action Pokemon films because if they've done it once, obviously it's been profitable for them and is popular. I really hope we can see more in this kind of world.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the consensus I'm seeing from most reviewers online is that the film itself is adequate. It's a decent, good film. It's not groundbreaking, but the fact it's like a film based on a game that isn't completely terrible is what people are raving about. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I love the whole from the trailers and what I've seen. The whole world that they've created is just really cool. Um, like that whole futuristic city with the Pokemon coinciding with humans is that's just cool. I'm amazed it's not been done before, to be honest. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping going to see it this weekend. I know Aladdin's out today, but that's going to probably have to wait a little bit. I'm not too bothered about watching Aladdin. You'll be shocked to hear from a Disney boy. Not too bothered. It's not
Well,
a whole new
I
world.
don't blame you. It doesn't look incredible, does it?
I just think all the trailers look rubbish. But the problem is the Disney loving community online, because there is a big community who are, proper Disney fanatics. They cream over anything Disney related. It doesn't matter if it's rubbish. They'll still say it's really good because they're just too scared to say anything negative about Disney.
Do
Like,
you do you watch many um videos about the Disneyland. This is way off topic, but
Right.
it's been a while since we've had an actual chat. Do you ever
Mm.
watch videos on YouTube about the Disneyland theme parks?
Yes, I do.
So my partner has, we've got one YouTube account logged into the PlayStation, which I really regret because my partner has been watching like a couple of videos about like Disneyland, America, whatever it's called, Disneyland Florida, Disney World, whatever, and like therefore
Walt Disney World.
that's corrupted the algorithm so that now we get loads of recommendations about Disney videos. But
And is it all Road to Disney? Is every single video Road to Disney?
no, because I already watch all your videos, so they don't pop up on the homepage anymore. But
Mm.
some of these videos about Disney and about like maximizing your times at the park is just
Yeah.
insane. Like the amount
Yeah.
they recommend, like, oh, and make sure to bring $55,000 with you because you'll want to buy this. And it's like, what? And then it's
No.
like, make sure to
Yeah.
book ahead so you'll be eating your breakfast before 7 a.m.
No,
No,
honestly, if you want to make the most out of your time at Disney, you need to plan, plan, plan. These videos are very important. They really are. Honestly.
you're turning into
Are,
the thing I despise, Colin. Don't do it.
are you excited about Galaxy's Edge?
I don't know what that is. That a new Samsung phone?
You know what it is, you dipstick. It's the new Star Wars land at Disney that they're opening. You must know about this. Come on.
Is that to replace Star Tours?
No, Star Tours is a separate entity. No. Galaxy's Edge is like Star Wars Land. They're opening in Disneyland, California, and in Florida, and it opens next week. And people are so excited because it's a ticket for the first 3 months. You can only get in with a ticket. You can't just walk in. It's gonna be
Great.
huge.
That
There's the
sounds
Millennium
good for people
Falcon
who are just
ride.
popping to Disney.
Oh no, it's pretty shit for people just turning up. But no, honestly, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. There's so many cool things coming up Disney-wise. Anyway, how do we get onto Disney? Oh yeah, Detective Pikachu. So yeah, I'll watch it hopefully this weekend, and then I'll be able to report back on whether it's any good. But yeah, and most people have said it's good, which is I was just hoping for good. Anything worse than that would be. Have you? So we're going to continue the whole watching media thing. Have you seen? Do you watch much Netflix? Are you a Netflix boy?
Yep, I'm a Netflix boy.
Have you seen You?
A bit of it. Not a great
How have you only watched a bit of it when it's like the best show on Netflix and probably one of the best shows ever made?
One of the best shows ever made, says
I
Colin, ladies and
was
gentlemen.
absolutely upset. Me and Shona like breezed through it in about 3 days, and this is we watch a lot of TV. Me and Shona, I've watched a lot of shows on Netflix, but this one gripped me, and I was so into it that after I went on Reddit, subscribed to the You subreddit, and was like joining in discussions about like what it could mean, what the ending could mean.
Is there a
Man,
season
it's
2?
so good. They're making a season 2. Yeah, it's coming out later this year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. If you've not seen it all, you do need to watch it. You is brilliant. If you didn't like the first, if you say you only watched a bit of it, that makes me think you watched like a bit of an episode and got bored and gave up.
I think I just had it. I think Emma had it on in the background whilst I was doing something.
Oh, it's so good, so good. Talking of, I can't do a good segue. Talking about shows that were written badly, Game of Thrones. Anyway,
we're not going to talk about that here because Colin, I want to talk to you about the new mobile game from Minecraft. Now, have you seen about this?
So is this just Minecraft?
Well, it's called Minecraft Earth. There's a video
great.
trailer which you can watch. We could embed it on here as Handheld actually. And essentially, this is Minecraft's kind of entrance into the augmented reality mobile space. On their website, they're billing it as the world of Minecraft enters our universe in a whole new way thanks to the power of augmented reality. Create, explore, and survive like never before. Sign up for a free chance to be one of the first to play. So you can sign up now on the website. And basically, it's a game about creativity, which I think from what I've seen on the trailers and all that kind of stuff, it's basically Minecraft but in the real world, and you can do things like build and collaborate on making things together in like public spaces. You can go on adventures together. There's going to be mobs, I guess there'll be creepers and all that kind of stuff. And you can work with players as well. It looks really interesting. I think it could be. It's because their 10th anniversary, which is mad, by the way.
Crazy, yeah.
I think it could be a really big deal though, because people really love Minecraft. Obviously, it's very very popular, and it is, I would say, it is the franchise after the big franchise that appeals to those a little bit younger than Pokemon. I think, like
Yeah.
people who were kind of, we were children when Pokemon came out, and then the people who were children when Minecraft came out. It's kind of like a similar thing. It's going to be free to play. It's going to be on iOS and Android on AR capable devices, and you can get into the beta on their website. And they say they want to roll it around out over the entire Earth as well. And there's going to be no loot boxes. Yeah, it does look
Whoa.
quite interesting. Definitely watch the trailer if you can. I think this could be a bit of a game changer, especially because I don't know how well you remember when Pokemon. I mean, we were just talking about when Pokemon Go came out, but I've seen lots of younger people who don't have phones but play Pokemon Go on like their parents' devices, stuff like that. And I think Minecraft is probably going to be a slightly easier sell than Pokemon Go, because there's a kind of creative element to it and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how they
Yeah.
get on with this, and we'll obviously be keeping across it on here as Handheld, because it is a type of game which is obviously going to appeal to us, and we would love to report on. So more news on that as it comes in.
It does seem like they're maybe stepping on the Pokemon Go um, world there with augmented reality.
What do you think will be more popular? Stake a claim now: Minecraft mobile or Harry Potter handheld?
I think this is just from my knowledge. I think the Harry Potter one's been marketed a bit more than this Minecraft one. But you'd imagine that if they were both on a level playing field in terms of the marketing, that Minecraft would be more popular, just because of the huge appeal it has for families and young children and things like that. I think it's a great idea, but I do think probably Minecraft will be more popular in the long term. In the end game, it'll be Minecraft.
I certainly feel like Minecraft is going to land with a bigger oomph than Harry Potter, but I guess we'll see what happens in the long term.
Yeah, man.
Keynote, there's one more thing I want to talk to you about, Colin, if that's all
Yeah.
right, because I was going to pod last week when you were away, and then I couldn't, and that's a shame because there was a Super Mario Maker 2 Direct last week from Nintendo, where they detailed a bunch of things coming to the game. You can watch the Direct on our website. We'll embed it. It was only 15 minutes or so. And the best write-up I found online has been from The Verge, where they have said that the game is bringing co-op play online as well as some form of local. So online co-op with 4 of you, and then local play as well. The game's going to have new themes: desert, winter, and forest. A nighttime option. Additional characters like Red Yoshi and the Angry Sun. Slope switches, custom scrolling. Single-player story mode, which is big. So yeah, it's worth watching the whole video. But I think there's some really interesting stuff there. The game comes out June 28th, which is only a month away. I wasn't that mad for it, but now I'm leaning into it quite a lot, I think.
Yeah, the Super Mario Maker, not really something I've much experience with or much interest in, to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've sort of neglected my Switch over the past few months. It makes me sad.
Yeah, I've been
Maybe the new Assassin's Creed will bring me back in.
ooh. I've been playing a lot of Masquerade Swords and Shadows, which has been good. But I've just seen, sorry, Colin, some breaking news. Did you know Mario Kart Tour is out in beta now?
No. What?
And this is coming from, I just clicked this link on the bottom of the Verge's website where I was reading about the Mario Maker breakdown. The game is out in beta in the US and Japan, and apparently it is full of loot box style gotcha systems where you spend virtual currency for a shot at unlocking items. There's also gameplay. We'll embed some gameplay footage on heroesfounded.wordpress.com. I imagine we'll talk more about this next week as this gets more of a reaction.
Well, that's shit then, isn't it? They've
What a
become
letdown.
they've become the very thing they swore to destroy.
Yeah, I am the Senate, or whatever the phrase is. What is it?
I am the shit. No, that's oh god, Kane, the very thing they swore to destroy. That's the bit where Anakin's fighting Obi-Wan.
Oh yes.
Well, what does he say? I have the high ground. Anyway, oh, prequel memes. So
Was
good.
Was it 20 years of Phantom Menace?
Yeah, it's been 20 years since Phantom Menace came out, which is crazy.
I have a proposition for you, Colin.
Do it.
I would like to end the show, then have a little chat, but we'll keep the stream up so people can stay engaged if they want to, about Game of Thrones.
Yes, that's a good idea. I like that.
So let's end, and then we'll talk Game of Thrones so that people who haven't watched it or are uninterested have the chance to duck out now.
Cool. So let's end it then. Thank you for listening, everybody, to episode 255 of Heroes of Handheld, the podcast dedicated to Nintendo Switch and mobile gaming. I've been Colin, that's been Chris, eventually, and we're here every Wednesday, normally shooting the shit, releasing new episodes. If you want to listen to any of our previous episodes, go to our website, heroesofhandheld.wordpress.com, and go to the Heroes of Handheld link at the top of the page. All our previous episodes are on there, going back to episode number 1, so you can listen to everything. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search Heroes of Handheld podcast, and we'll be wherever decent podcasts are sold. We're on Twitter at Handheld Podcast. That's at Handheld Podcast. We're also all over social media, so your Facebooks and stuff. We're not on Instagram yet. Maybe we'll have to think about that. But then, we wouldn't really Well, I guess we could upload pictures of games we're playing. I don't know. We'll talk. We'll get the work experience person to work on that. Anyway.
On it.
Get on it. So thank you for listening, everybody. Back next week, same time, same place. Chris, any last words before we end the stream?
Thank you for bearing with me. If any of our super rich listeners want to buy me a new laptop so it won't happen again, then get in touch with me at @NSoundman on Twitter.
We just need to do our GoFundMe, and then we'll be fine.
Worth a punt, isn't it?
Get the stretch goals. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.